So we are here with section 2.1. I do hope that exam 1 went well for you. That being said, we are not learning necessarily a lot of new content from the business knowledge side of things in chapter 2, as much as we are taking what we learned from chapter 1 with linear equations and now using what in most cases is a better model to represent what actually happens called quadratic equations. And so if you're afraid of quadratic equations because they are difficult, that's normal. I would say at this point, don't freak out because we're going to make sense of these things in a way that should be very accessible to everyone. So our purpose for section 2.1 here is that you will be able to solve problems that can be modeled by quadratic equations. Again, this course is an application course, not a course necessarily where we are learning how to do math, but learning where we are learning how to use math instead. So that being said, we will get started with the notes. And the need to know Schlegel notes part 1 is that's the quadratic equation right there. It's probably something you have seen before, even if it looks unfamiliar, and some of you may have used it quite extensively. It is kind of a big deal. That being said, we are not going to worry about that really necessarily at all. So take the information that you have about that coming into the course and use that as you go forward. And if you are lacking information about that, recognize that it's going to be okay and you don't need to worry about it. So the need to know Schlegel notes part 2, methods that we have for solving a quadratic equation, which is this nasty right here. We're going to go through this fairly quickly. You could have done this thing called factoring, and you probably did a lot of that in high school and in previous math courses to this one. We could use square roots. We could do a fancy thing called completing the square that seems like a magic trick to most people. Or we could use the quadratic formula, which looks like about the funnest thing that anyone could be doing on a Saturday night. Or we could just use Wolfram. And so I've got the green light on Wolfram there. That is exactly how I am going to recommend that we solve every one of these because it is going to be, most of them are going to be very nasty. And so if you're a person that wants to solve these by hand, I will wish you luck at this point and then hope that you start using Wolfram instead very soon into this section. That's going to be it for this video, everyone. Just a quick introduction to chapter 2 and what we will have coming up as we move forward. I'll be back with the video for example 1.